Hello viewers and welcome back again, and this is our continuation of our lesson. As I told you, we're going to talk something about strings. But before we talk about strings, I want you to know something. I will tell you something about variable, like one thing I want you to know about variable. Then I will show you how to receive input from a user. Then maybe in the next chapter we talk fully about strings. Now, in our previous video we talked more about variables. Now you could see that this was what our camel naming, our Pascal naming, and our snake naming methods of variables. Now, we should also know that variables can accept integer. It can accept floating number like 8.0. Okay, and it can also accept what strings like SMS. Perfect. Then there was one thing like they didn't tell you, like a Boolean function in, let's say it's true. Boolean. Now, Boolean in Python accept to either true or false. So anytime you see true or false in every programming language, is a Boolean value, right? Yeah. So it can accept what? A variable can accept what? An integer. It can accept a floating number. It can accept a string. And it can accept a Boolean value. This is all what I want you to know about what variables can do. So imagine I want you to write a program now about someone who just went to the hospital and the doctors wanted to know whether the person is a new patient and he is 20 years of age. And I want you to write or declare a variable for all these statements I just said. So let's say we write it first. Let's try to comment so that the interpreter doesn't see like it display on the screen. Let me clear this. We don't need this. So a patient at the hospital being asked by the doctor if he is a new patient or old patient. And he is 20 years of age. 20 years of age. Now, I could see you can't see my screen, so let me try to break this down. Perfect. Now, so a patient, so we have a patient at the hospital being asked by the doctor if he is a new patient or an old patient, and he's 20 years of age. So now, I want you to write 3 variables for this statement. 1, we should know the name of the patient. 2, age. And 3, is he old or new patient? So how do you write kind of variable like this for this statement? So first, as I said, we are going to write something about what? The name, which is 1. Let me comment this. And secondly, we are going to talk about the age. And third, we're going to talk about is new or old patient. So to write a variable for this statement, first we need to write a name. By name, you can use the case or the camel case, the Pascal naming case, or the snake naming case to declare your variables. Okay. So a name, you can just say M, my name. So this is what the camel naming method. The small first, then what? So let's say my, something like this. First word is my, which is started with small. Then the second word, which is name, start with the capital. This is what the camel case is. And we need to assign it to what? Name. Here we're going to use string, but I told you Variables can accept strings, can accept integer, can accept floating, and can accept Boolean values like true or false. So my name, let me put my name, close this up. My name, let's say Dr. Dog here. Exactly. Then we talk about age. So age, I'll say, this time I'm not going to use the camel case, I'm using the Pascal. So M capital, so my age. So you can see here, we have first capital M as for my word and age as another word. So we start with another capital A. And this time we are going to put S integer, which is, let's say I'm 20 years old. Yeah. Then the next is a Boolean value. So you just write using what this equal is underscore NU underscore patient equals to true. Perfect. So now you see this assignment or this exercise we just did, a patient at the hospital being asked by the doctor if he is a new patient or old patient, and he is 20 years of age. We were able to deduce all these statements by creating 3 variables for it, where the variables we wanted you to declare variable for name, age, and is a new or old patient. And we use the naming style, which can be the camel naming style, the Pascal naming style, or the snake naming style to declare what variable. So my small letter, we just accept auto. And I always tell you variables accept strings. So it accepted the string. It also accepted this integer and accepted this Boolean value. So this is all what I wanted you to do, is to create a variable for this statement. And that's it. We are done. Now, with this, we are done with the variables, but I want you to show you how to receive input from a user. Then after that, we'll be done for the day, and in our next video, we'll talk more about string. So how do we receive input from a user? Let me comment all this out. As I told you, we always need to. Okay, perfect. Now we use something called the input function. First, we use the print function to display names or everything on the screen. Now, when to accept or receive something from a user, we use the input function. So we are going to use input to ask the user his name. So in quote, what is your name? Now look here, I just wrote this. Now this is where variables are so important. We've already wrote what our input function. Now we need to store this so that we can print this thing on the screen for the user to enter the name. So we store all this thing in a variable. So let's say we store it in a variable called what name. We're using the camel name stuff. So what's perfect. Now when we print this variable, we should get this message on the screen, because now this input, which is asking the name, is being stored in this variable. I hope you are getting what we have done so far. I've relaxed and I'm trying to explain everything to you, whether you get all the knowledge you need to know. So now you see, we've asked the user what is your name, and this is stored in our variable so that when we call it or we print this, it will be able to retrieve the information stored in it in the memory of the computer, so that you'll be able to enter one in. So when we type in print what name and we run our code, now look on the screen. What is your name? It's asking you to enter your name. So when I type in Messi and I print enter, yes, Messi display on the name. Perfect. So what is your name? Messi. Wow, there's a bit problem with our code. Now, when we say what is your name, there's no spacing here. It's just close to the question mark, which is not that interesting for me, or it's not a nice way of coding. So, looking at our input function and the statement being displayed here, we can put a cursor here and try to space out, so that the next time you do, it will give us a space to be able to enter an implement. So let's rerun our code again. And this time, when I put the cursor, you see it has created that space. So we just need to just type Messi. And that's it. It has printed. So nice to eyes on the screen. So sorry, I had a call from someone, which is kind of interrupting our message, but yeah, we're still on it. Don't worry about that. So what I'm trying to tell you right now is, with this variable, which is storing our input function, we're able to display this variable on the screen, and it was able to allow us to enter one. So now I want you to just write program, so that when you ask the name of the person, it will tell maybe hi. Like the moment you type in your name, it should display, let's say, hello, and your name follows. Yeah. So actually what we're going to do now is, this is what is your name, which is what the variable storing this. Now we need to modify this print. Before it press this, we need to just put another string here, which is hi plus what is happening here. None. We said that when the person enter the name, it should print maybe hi or hello before the name. So what I've done is, this is a string, and this is plus, and this is the variable name, which contain the string with this input function. So what it's doing here is, when it's printing the message on the screen, it first will print the hi, then it concatenates. In programming, we call something concatenate or add this variable to it. So let's run a program and let me show you something. Sorry for the calls, yeah? Okay, so what is your name? I'll just type in Messi. Then when I hit enter, now you see what is just saying, hi Messi. I will tell you, there's always problem when you are doing spacing here, right? So make sure you bring space so that it will look nice. So what I'm going to do is to create a space between this. So this comment here, I'll just set a space here. Let me try to space out. Let's run the code again. This time when I hit Messi, it should space out 5. So hi Messi. So this is how we receive input from a user when you are coding in Python. I hope you've enjoyed all this tutorial, and I've relaxed to explain this. And that's why I always tell you, this is the best Python course on the planet now. So get onto your code editor and try to practice this together, so that we move forward and be good programmers. Thank you, and see you in the next video, where we're going to talk more about things. This is just the intro to everything, because I want you to know the knowledge about it. Because in the future, when we are building projects, all this will come together so that you'll be able to. So you need to know the basics and understand it before you move to when you are doing. Now you will know how to accept input from a user, and how to print on the screen. If you know how to store your message or your strings into a variable, and how to display the variable on the screen, which contains all your input or your stored value, whether your integer, your floating, your string, or your boolean value. Thank you. I'm still your co-instructor, Dr. Don from Learn With Your Brain. See you in the next video. Take care and have a good evening. Bye-bye.